My friends, what's happening behind the scenes in Brasília right now is driven by a single feeling: absolute panic. The mainstream media is reporting it as a regular financial transaction. They say that a Brazilian businessman decided to diversify his business and invest in the defense industry. It's a clean, bureaucratic, and completely false headline. Pay close attention to what will be revealed now: the purchase of Avibras. Yes, my friends, the largest and most strategic arms company in Brazil is not a market move. It's an act of desperation. It's the direct response to the geopolitical earthquake that Trump caused in South America. When the American military machine entered Venezuela, did whatever it wanted, and removed Nicolás Maduro from power, reality hit at the Planalto Palace. The house of cards of the Latin American left collapsed in a matter of hours, and the question that echoed through the corridors of power in Brazil was not how this happened, but rather, can they do the same here? The answer that the high military command gave to the president was cold and terrifying. Yes, they can. Brazil is completely defenseless. And it was exactly this diagnosis of extreme vulnerability that hit the panic button. Overnight, the most controversial businessman in the country, the man who built an empire selling meat, decided it was time to manufacture ballistic missiles and anti-aircraft defense systems. The system is protecting itself. And what you're about to see now is the anatomy of this operation. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video. To understand the size of the hole our national defense is in, you need to look at the math of modern warfare. What allowed the United States to decapitate the Venezuelan regime so easily? Have you ever stopped to wonder? Well, the answer is simple: absolute control of the airspace. The Americans destroyed the few anti-aircraft systems that Venezuela had before Maduro's generals could even blink. They were old Russian junk from the Cold War that didn't work properly anymore. They also had Chinese radars that were completely useless. And the assessment from the Brazilian Army and Air Force is that Brazil's situation isn't much different. Brazil doesn't have a shield. The country has a few short-range air defense batteries, but it doesn't have anything modern at all. Nothing capable of intercepting a real threat from a superpower. Brazilian airspace is wide open. The only real passive line of defense for Brasília is geography. The capital was built in the middle of nowhere, far from the ocean, which makes it difficult to position aircraft carriers at the doorstep of the palace. But in the era of stealth fighters and hypersonic missiles, geography is just a minor inconvenience. If the biggest war machine on the planet decided it was time to intervene, an American squadron would enter Brazilian airspace, reach Brasília, put the country's leaders in a helicopter and take them away. Exactly like they did with Maduro. No resistance would be possible. And this realization of total impotence changed the game. The government realized that there's no point in making fiery speeches at the UN if you have no way to defend your own territory. But the problem with air defense is that it's not a technology you can just buy off the shelf at the supermarket. There is a global limitation. Very few countries have mastered this technology. For years, the developing world believed Moscow's propaganda. Russia sold the myth that its S-300 and S-400 systems were impenetrable shields, the best in the world. But the war in Ukraine and the conflict in the Middle East shattered that myth. Russian and Chinese systems are being humiliated daily by cheap drones and Western missiles. Iran, which blindly trusted these radars, saw its bases pulverized by Israel and the United States without the alarms even going off. The plain and simple truth is that Russian military technology has been stuck in time, and Chinese technology has never been tested on a real battlefield. Brazil, therefore, is isolated, and the only real way out is to develop our own technology. This is where Avibras comes in. The company based in São José dos Campos is the crown jewel of Brazilian military engineering. It produces the Astro system, a highly precise ballistic rocket launcher, the main item in the Brazilian army's arsenal. But Avibras was down and out. In bankruptcy protection, drowning in debt with employees on strike for years because its main client, the Brazilian government, doesn't have the budget to buy absolutely anything, the situation was so critical that foreign investors, including a major group from Australia, put $1 million offers on the table to buy the company, inject capital and modernize production. Any normal country would celebrate this investment. But the order that came down from the Planalto Palace was an absolute veto. The government blocked the sale to the Australians. And what's more, it forbade Avibras from selling the Astro system to Ukraine, which was desperate for this type of weapon to fight against Russia. The Astro system could have gained the biggest showcase for military sales in the world, competing side by side with the American system. But the government preferred to suffocate the company, rather than go against its ideological allies in Moscow. Avibras was brought to the brink of bankruptcy by political decisions of the current government. Lula wouldn't allow sales abroad and didn't have money to buy domestically. The company was ready to be liquidated. And it's exactly at this moment of total suffocation, right after the panic caused by Maduro's fall, that the savior of the nation appears. José Joesley Batista. Yes, that's his name. The man who built the JBS empire, who was at the center of the biggest corruption scandals in the country's recent history, decides that his new business now is war. An investment fund with direct participation from the businessman announces an initial injection of 300 million reais to take control of Avibras. Look at that coincidence. The president becomes desperate over the lack of missiles and air defense. The government prevents the missile factory from being bought by foreigners. And like magic, the businessman most aligned with Lula and the interests of the Planalto Palace shows up with a blank check to buy the country's largest arms manufacturer. This is not about criticizing private enterprise. It's vital for Brazil to have a strong national defense industry. Yes, I agree with that, and so do you. What Ukraine is proving to the world is that when things get tough, you can only count on the weapons you manufacture yourself. Relying on donations or last-minute purchases is strategic suicide. The problem is not privatization. The problem is the monopoly of power that is being shaped in the shadows, in the hands of the same political group. The purchase of Avibras is not an isolated event. It's a piece of a much larger and much darker puzzle. The J&F group of the Batista brothers is buying Brazil piece by piece, always aligned with the urgent needs of the current left-wing government. When the government needed to solve the energy crisis in the north of the country, who was it that showed up to buy the thermoelectric plants in Amazonas and Roraima Energia? Joesley Batista's group. They now control the meat the country eats, the energy that lights up the borders, and the missiles that are supposed to defend the territory. Everything is in the hands of a single conglomerate that operates in perfect symbiosis with Lula's political power. And it's impossible not to connect the dots with what just happened in Venezuela. For years, Brazil bought overpriced energy from Nicolás Maduro's regime. It was a constant cash flow that helped sustain the dictatorship in Caracas. But at the exact moment Maduro was removed from power, the Brazilian demand for Venezuelan energy simply disappeared. The contract ended, the tap ran dry. The behind-the-scenes math suggests a grim scenario. The purchase of energy from Venezuela seemed to function less as a technical necessity and more as a pipeline for financing and money laundering for the Latin American left-wing axis. With Maduro out of the game, the pipeline was cut and redirected, and now the financial machine needs to turn inward. Also remember that José Joesley has investments in oil companies inside Venezuela. The same money that returns to Lula's government in mysterious ways. The consolidation of strategic assets, energy and defense in the hands of businessmen who are friends of the king is the way to ensure that the system keeps feeding itself, shielded against external interference. The panic caused by Donald Trump revealed the fragility of the system. They realized they don't have a shield, and now they're racing against time to build one, using the money from the same businessmen as always. The Brazilian arms industry was saved from bankruptcy, but the price of this rescue is absolute control of the state by a select group of billionaires. The power game is being played right in front of you, and the mainstream media just calls it business. The truth is that the system is closing ranks to ensure its own survival. And there's another detail I want you to put on the board. Today, we have a real, plausible and legitimate justification to invest in our sovereignty. And with that, put a lot of state money, our money, the people's money, into industry. To guarantee our sovereignty, to guarantee our defense, yes. Now, who can guarantee that this money that will be invested there will really build our defense industry? Or will it simply come in and go out through multiple different ways, like, for example, through Banco Master? Yes, we do have a justification. Now, will this turn into missiles, into anti-aircraft batteries? Or is it simply going to be used to pay for consulting from endless law firms owned by friends? Yes, my friends. Petrolão, Mensalão, Operation Car Wash, all of that was done within companies that served the federal government. Could it be that Avibras will be turned into exactly that? So, two things. They have no loyalty to the nation, but now they've decided to take care of national sovereignty. Another thing, yet another private company serving the government and receiving billions. And if you want to understand the next moves in this chess game and have access to the reports that the mainstream media hides, the gateway to our intelligence bunker is open. I created an exclusive platform free from censorship where we can bring what can't be said here. Names, keywords, yes, we're on someone else's turf. The QR code is on your screen now. The link is pinned in the first comment or in the description. There, it's sober analysis, without filters and without censorship. And if you want to see how life imitates art, how cinema has already rubbed all this in our faces, with dark alliances between governments and corporations, check out our new channel for movies and TV shows. We dissect the hidden geopolitical truth on screen. The link is also here in the cards and in the pinned comment. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell and leave a like on the video. Shield your mind against disinformation. I'm Shimon Oliveira and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.